There we go. Hey, how goes it? Ken Bozak here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. This is accessories trading. I'm here with my bros, Deshawn Miller and Jamar James of digitalcurrencyguy.com and .tv. How goes it, bros?
Man, it's all good. Thanks for having us in. You know, it's been a long time coming.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Had a good time kicking it with you at Chainwise, Ken. So yeah, appreciate you
Yeah.
having us today.
Yeah, shout out to Crypto Crow. Chainwise event was really, like I said, it might have been small, but it was really intimate, really high quality, really good event. And I think it, could have some cool local impact because he had the radio ads and like ads on the billboards and stuff, which was really cool.
Yeah. I think it'll definitely help to spread the word about crypto and Bitcoin across the Midwest. Um,
Yeah.
I appreciate him taking the time to do it.
Hey, shout out to Clint Westwood. Yeah, we were hanging out there, Clint. We were there, bro. So I guess introduce yourself, guys. I guess whoever wants to start, but just start with like, how you got into the crypto space and what you're doing now in the industry.
Right. Well, I mean, for me, I've been an entrepreneur, and I got into crypto. I transitioned from real estate, and I had a business coach back in 2009 when the real estate market crashed. He basically was like, "Hey, man, throw some money in the stock market," and I got in the stock market, and I actually bought the bottom, and that kind of put my bug in for trading. And then around 2015, I had a lot of guys that I was trading with. I was trading for a side group, T3 Trading, and I basically had guys leaving, and they were all like just disappearing, like one by one. And I was like, "Hey, man, where you guys going?" And they were all transitioning out to crypto, and they started buying Bitcoin. And this is like 2015. 2016, I got the bug as well. I bought something for my daughter, and a couple of months later, it was worth three times is what I paid for it. And I was like,
Nice.
why am I doing it for my kids? I should be doing it for myself. And
Good
so,
point.
yeah. So I initially got into crypto really for my kids, and then understanding the technology, I realized that the future, is changing, and also the ideas of freedom, and that really appealed to me. The idea that we can own our resource, and we didn't have to have a middleman. We didn't have to go through a bank. We didn't have to go through some kind of authority figure. And so I really became you know, the idea of cryptocurrency really got me into it more than the money. And so, since then, I pretty much, left the other markets, stock market, equities, and I got into crypto. I took a lot of those ideas that, the stock market is manipulated, and and whoever has the most money is able to manipulate the market. And realizing that in cryptocurrency is all about volume and sentiment, I started, teaching those same strategies that, hey, you know what, whether it's manipulated or not, we still can benefit and we still can take advantage of watching volume in crypto. And it's a lot easier, way more transparent. Everything is transparent where we have the tools in cryptocurrency where in the stock market you had to have a fund or a hedge fund, quant fund behind you to get the same amount of information.
Yep.
And so it's leveled up the trading markets. It's leveled up where we have information, and most of it is free to be able to have the same edge as the banks. We can see they can't hide their volume. They can't
Right.
hide the money they're putting in the market, where it's allowed us to actually trade and be profitable. Even in these crazy, sideways markets and up and down
High
markets,
volatility of the markets. Yeah,
high volatility. I mean, that's all stuff traders love. And I think
absolutely.
the guys had advantage. The guys that were just holders, in the beginning, they had the advantage because they got in first. But when
Right.
Wall Street starts coming into the markets, it becomes it becomes a game of actually knowing and being able to spot that manipulation coming in and out the market.
Well, that's what they're
Trading.
kind of still waiting, right? Is they don't want to start coming in and purchasing this asset, and that will hyperinflate their next investment, only costing them less profits on each time they occur an investment. So when you look at like legacy markets, there are ways to buy stocks without currently raising the price, and they're trying to do that with crypto now.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, I think the last time I seen you, I mean, we were at Consensus, and I seen you at we were at Consensus in New York, and I talked to a couple of funds there, and they're like, they're waiting for Bitcoin to get 50,000 a coin before they even invest into it. Like those funds, the liquidity in the volume isn't there in the price. They need it to
Right.
be a little bit more expensive before they even come into the markets because they
What
have
about you,
minimum.
Deshawn? How did you get into crypto, and like what was your rabbit
Oh,
hole experience like?
I'm more of the suburban dad that discovered crypto and it kind of changed my life. So it made me walk away from corporate America. Um, I got into crypto in around 2016, and I was actually on vacation with my parents, and it started with I was looking for ways to save money or investments to get into, and I was looking at silver, and then I caught a silver YouTube guy, and he started talking about crypto, and he talked about Coinbase, and then from Coinbase I got to watching Bitcoin and Litecoin, and at the moment, like when I got into it, Litecoin was like $4 a coin, so Bitcoin was real cheap, and we were on vacation, and I downloaded the Coinbase app and all that stuff. This was back when Coinbase still had private keys, so it was pretty early on, and I didn't know it, and I had got into it. I downloaded Coinbase and I started looking at it and I started seeing the market move, and I was able to get in and make some money off of it. So while I was on vacation, I told my parents, I was like, you guys need to buy your grandkids a Bitcoin. This would be worth some money in the future. And they didn't believe me. They thought I was crazy. Like, here you go. You're off on one of your tangents again. So that was the year that crypto ran and Bitcoin went all the way up to 20K. So at Christmas, when I pulled out my phone and I showed them everything that was going on, I was like, yeah, I'm not crazy anymore, am I? And they were like, no. So now everybody wants to listen to me. Now they're like, oh, well, how do we get into Bitcoin? How do we? And they all think it's going to, everybody looking for the moon and Lambos and stuff now. But here we focus more on the education and capturing the sentiment and news and the movement in the market so that you can, for people who are the casual hodlers, can get into the markets and take advantage of the volatility. But
Well,
that's
it goes to show, no matter how powerful the message is, it really is, sort of at first the messenger, and it starts from the grassroots, talking to your family and friends about it like that. That really starts to plant the seeds. So keep we got to keep doing that. So if you're watching this, just reach out to somebody and be like, hey, get into this crypto thing. Annoy them a little bit. It will be for their own good. If you look retrospect, we never know where the market's going. But if you look back, it has done very well compared to any other, diversified avenue that you could have taken.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, just thinking about it this year, I think crypto is what we're at 7,500 right now, and
About, yeah.
at the beginning of the year it was at 35. No, I'm sorry, it was like 4,000. So we're still up over 90% just for people who wanted to hold. And that's just if you took the time out to educate yourself and learn about crypto, learn about what it is, um, and how it can help you for real in everyday applications of life. Everything.
Right.
Well,
Well,
so I guess we're talking about trading and stuff, and I wanted to segue more into that, but I wanted to start with sort of like the concerns that people would have getting into it with exchanges like recently like Quadriga and Upbit and all these what seem to be pretty legitimate exchanges leaving people penniless, exiting with their funds being hacked or otherwise just straight exiting. How do we, start a conversation with legacy investors when we're talking about something that's still very wild west, and the risk reward ratio may be, 20%, 40% as opposed to 2% in 1 year in a traditional market, but the security in that potential 2% way outweighs the risks of an exchange, or what we've seen happen with Poloniex and Binance kind of leaving the U.S., right? So I'm just curious, like, what are your conversations like with these legacy investors when starting to get them interested into this new industry?
right. So, I mean, for me, most of the guys that I work with, and Deshawn, he works with a lot of guys that are coming in practically brand new. I work with a lot of investors and business owners, and one of the things that they have is, they already have a risk tolerance, and so I don't advise anyone to go 100% in crypto, but for business owners that are looking for ways to um, transfer assets, these are other vehicles where it's like when you have cash, it's in your bank account. When you have crypto, you actually own it. It's your private key. So like for instance, like probate, people when they die, some of their things go through probate, and their families aren't able to have access to it. Whereas crypto, you have a key, and basically whoever has that private key, they basically have access to your um, assets. Another way is people that have family in different places in the world. You can't, I have a lot of guys that can't send money from one country to the next because the banks hold it off, or there's a lot of fees. So transmission and remittance, that's a big deal for business owners that are doing business globally, and they want to be able to move outside, move from one place to the next, and a lot of digital nomads that are operating in different places. They need a way to communicate with their family and get money directly. And
Right.
so sometimes they don't have the banking system in places when you're moving around. So
Yeah,
when we had these
Jamar,
conversations,
he
it's really
focuses
about
more on the big companies, and I focus more on like the mom and dads in the suburbs or whatever. Like where I live at now, in the suburban area where I live at, there's a lot of Asians or Indian Indian families that move into the neighborhood, and I go out and speak to them and help them understand that there's ways to transmit or send money and funds back to their loved ones at a lower cost and at a higher speed. And at this,
all compliantly, Deshawn, all compliantly,
absolutely,
all
absolutely.
compliantly, man. We all, yeah.
Well, local
Oh,
local bitcoins is definitely the best compliant way, I guess, to do stuff like that.
but I just show them how to download, how to download a wallet, how to send Bitcoin from, how to get it from the exchange and send it to their wallet, and then from there they can help their family members download their wallets onto their phones and send funds
Yeah,
across that way.
yeah, it's really the idea, Ken. I mean, it's really the idea that hey, you can go peer to peer now. I mean, because like most people, the idea is that we've been taught and programmed, and we haven't been educated in school that we actually have control. Like we have control of where our funds are going and who owns them. Like why do we use banks? We use banks because we've been taught to put our money in safe, but we haven't been taught to like take that money and buy and sell our stocks on our own, because that's more of like, hey, well, we have a licensed advisor for that. We have a
Right.
license for getting married. We have a license for driving. I think the future, with our kids, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, they're in this digital world where it's a one to one. So for the older generation, I tell them like, hey, you know what? You're eventually gonna die, and your kids are gonna be in this environment where they're gonna need to know how to interact in this digital world, in this global economy. So, maybe you don't believe in it all the way, but your kids they're gonna be living in this world. They're already on Cash App,
Yep.
Venmo, PayPal. They're already in the digital world. So a lot of times that's how I introduce it to some of these other business owners and individuals, saying that hey, you're missing out on a demographic that there's people out there that only want to spend Bitcoin, that have
Yep.
cryptocurrency, and they want to come in your store, and
Yeah.
you don't accept Bitcoin, or you don't accept Bitcoin Cash. And these are the ways where it's like now it makes business sense for them to actually open up and learn. Because for us, I think we're the 5%, we're the 10% that we are educated, and we say, hey, you know what, the idea of freedom, we like it. The other guys are like, hey, you guys are crazy, like what's going on, that funny money, it's like, well, my goal is to empower people to get freedom, and one of the ways you can have freedom is on your own, be in control of your money,
Right.
and that's an important aspect, that guys that have money, they don't realize that they're not controlling it, control of it. They never seen their 401k. They don't realize how much they're paying every day, every month for that management fee. And now it says, hey, take a little bit and just go into crypto, and now you at least own some of your funds.
Yeah, and
You're the
there's
only
a
one that
lot of
has like,
ways to do that now. Like you're talking like mom and pop like on ramps. And anyway, I wanted to say a big shout out to investor Milton and Big Crypto Dave. Thanks for their shares and retweets. Much appreciated, bros. Um, the big turn on, I guess, for like that is there is a no KYC. There is that Wild West does have an appeal to individual traders outside of the institutional. That it's like, yeah, you may have issues getting into an STO. That's sort of what turned me on to crypto. Is I wanted to invest in I'm sorry,
SBO,
IPO, and I
ICO.
couldn't be. No, no, I wanted to invest in an IPO and I couldn't because I was not an accredited investor. So
Right.
the initial public offering wasn't available to me, and I couldn't take a chance in that opportunity. And then I sort of was like, well, I'll never be able to take that opportunity because I'll never be an accredited investor. That shit's way outside my fucking reach. Thanks a lot, investment world. And then I saw this, ICO with Ethereum coming out and all these ways to get, into basically what was an IPO without any KYC. And it was like a more inclusive on ramp into an investment opportunity. That's sort of why I took it as an individual. And you were talking about like getting people into crypto and stuff. Like you can get regular people can just download a few apps and get free satoshis just for doing regular things. There's the Pay, there's Lolly, there's Fold,
Yep.
and just by
Spend it
doing what you do on a regular basis, you'll end up having some crypto in a wallet somewhere.
and get it
Right.
tucked away.
So, I mean, one of the things I'm having this weekend is a Bitcoin Santa, right? Just to get kids to, for their parents to bring their kids down. We're hiring a Santa Claus, and we're basically just showing people how you download a free wallet, Bitcoin.org, and basically we're going to show them that, hey, we'll send you $1 on your Bitcoin or $5, and then they can send it amongst each other just to help the adoption, because the kids are going to come there and come meet Bitcoin Santa, who's going to give them some Bitcoin, right? And it's like, it happens in 5 and 10 minutes. And I think people don't understand how easy it is to be able to interact. Like there's merchants just selling merchant services and says, hey, you know what? We can set you up with Bitcoin. I talked to a business owner, like, well, just download a wallet. Someone wants to pay you and you can get Bitcoin. It's
Well,
not.
a lot of people will say people and parents don't want to get their kids involved in this, but I would say that's not probably going to be the case. If you look at how the internet was first treated, you couldn't use it without your mom and dad looking right over your shoulder. And now every kid has their own phone because parents justify it with the convenience of it, right? Rather than the risks of it. And, the convenience of your child having their own bank in their own pocket is going to be way more convenient than PayPal or Venmo freezing a transaction when they realize you've been letting a minor utilize the application on the device and now they can't get home from the mall or some bullshit.
Absolutely.
Right. Well,
Absolutely.
I mean, that's exactly my daughter. She plays softball. Every one of the kids have a phone, and they're all coming to the event. And then they told other guys, "Hey, we're coming to the event." Now we have about 58 kids, in 2 weeks of promotion. That they're saying, "Hey, how can we help and volunteer?" And that's not even the ones that registered. So
So we're
just
gonna have
spreads.
Satoshi L's and Bitcoin Santa and Nakamoto Santa.
Yeah, that's what we have in Bitcoin L's and Bitcoin Santa.
That's actually a really cool concept, man. Do you have a sponsor for that, or how's that being all like put together?
Man, I'm just doing it out of my own pocket. I have no sponsors
shit, respect.
Yeah. So I mean, that was something
Sponsored by the digital currency guy.
Digital currency guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we got over like 70 people that's registered on Eventbrite right now. So this is only in one Orange County in the city I live at my office space.
Where is it? Where is it at?
It's in Costa Mesa, 555 Antoine Boulevard, December 14th, this Saturday, December 14th at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And basically, we got space for about 100 people. And, depending on how many people come there, they'll either get $5 or $1. If we have too many people,
well,
reduced,
for the sake of transactions, I would incentivize and implore you to use a Lightning wallet or use some sort of a batch transaction event where you just copy everybody's address and send out one transaction using a batch transaction fee, so you don't have multiple fees on the blockchain.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's a good idea. My thing was I was gonna have these elves and just pass on some of the kids. We had about 20 volunteers from Los Amigos High School, and they're gonna be the elves. And I was just gonna give them load on like $100 on their wallets. And
well, you could do paper wallets, and then you could get a wallet like Monarch Wallet or Edge Wallet or whatever, and sweep the private key, and then that would be on the phone.
Right. Okay. Man, we should have you here.
I wish, man. That sounds like a lot of fun, honestly. Like, I did something a few years ago. I think in like 2015, I dressed up in a Guy Fawkes mask, and I went around with like my name Satoshi as like a name tag, and I gave away Bitcoin on paper wallets to people at a pretty big cannabis underground party on Halloween.
Okay, that's dope.
That is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got raided.
Wow.
I went to the store for pizza, bro, and I was walking back and there was helicopters and shit. I was just like, pizza just saved my life. Like the
Yeah,
munchies kept me free tonight.
It
pretty
kept you
much.
free.
Yeah, shout out to
I mean,
Aramingo's Best in Port Richmond.
that's crazy, man. We worry about those things too sometimes.
So, what are you guys' thoughts on the taxation of crypto right now and how it's perceived differently in different areas? I know, like, people already have capital gains issues, but if you're trading one crypto to another crypto and you're riding each wave, if each trade is a taxable event, is it even profitable at some level?
Nah, so if you're a day trader, I mean, they're gonna have to do something with the taxes, but I understand why they're doing it, right? The government. If you ever go to debtclock.org, you know, the only place that's green on that whole entire clock is the amount of money that they collect in taxation. And so for guys in crypto, that's one way they try to discourage guys from actively trading, and it becomes a nightmare on reporting. And so I don't even think they're equipped with the amount of reporting that's available. And
Right.
for us, we don't really focus on the day trades. I mean, for me personally, I'm more of a swing trader.
Swing trade.
I'm in and out the market just 3 or 4 trades a month. So, I don't take liberty into the day trading aspect. But I'm not a financial advisor for the sake of this call publicly. But there
Right.
are some strategies. If you establish corporations like you're a regular trader, it's the same as being a day trader in the traditional markets. And so, there's strategies that's built for traders to report their earnings. Especially like when it comes to futures market. They basically report different futures and ETFs report differently than common stock.
Okay.
And so there's some structures you can put in place as a trader. Um, working with tax licensed tax advisors that can help you structure it the right way.
Do you ever trade anything other than like cryptocurrencies as opposed to like NFTs, like non fungibles? Did you ever get into like the collectibles market early in, early out, kind of make a flip there? Did the
Yeah.
crypto
So
kitties thing interest the traders? Is kind of what I'm getting at.
right. So there's a lot of gaming. Even on
Yeah, it's
the
popping up the gaming thing, and I think traders are just not seeing it. But I mean, you tell me. Like,
no. I mean, we talk about it often. The trading, the baking. There's a huge opportunity
We
in
have
the
a top
gaming.
10 gamer in
I
the
think that's
group.
going to be the future. Like all the trading in the future, about another 10 years, is going to be through games. You
yeah,
have so
Gaza
many
Unchained
exchanges.
just sold one card for like 250 ETH.
No, we have a guy who's rated in the top 10 for I can't remember the name of the game,
Yeah,
man.
guys Unchained. He's
Yeah,
on guys Unchained.
he's in the top 10 on Guys Unchained in the group. He's in the digital currency guy group.
There's a chance I may have had him on my show. I've had somebody on my show that's in like the Clash of Clans top 10 for like the world. That's funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah,
Right. No,
yeah.
I think that's the future though, man. I mean, to be honest, I think that the way trading is done now, like we have a thing called no chart trading. Like we don't use charts. And in the future, with all these kids coming in, how crypto is going to be traded? It's going to be traded through like gaming. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
be traded like a game. And I think gaming is actually going to take over sports. I went down to a Twitch convention down in San Diego, and it was crazy the amount of the income, the activity,
Yup.
and the user base. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
that's a yeah. I think that's people don't realize that the blockchain and cryptocurrency, it's going to change the way it's already changed the way trading is done. TD Ameritrade, all these no commission brokers now, that is because of crypto. That is because of crypto and the way that the structure is set up where you can be transparent. Now you want attention. Everybody is
Right.
fighting for people's attention now. And so, the gaming has our youth, it has their attention. And so for the trading aspect, they're buying, they're trading Ethereum and basically are having collectible, individual items on these games.
attention is currency. That's what we got the
Yeah, I
basic
play
attention token from.
Steam
Yeah.
Monsters and or Splinterlands now, and there's like $5,000 to $10,000 in volume daily just for trading cards. So people are buying and selling to trade them, for whatever reason, either in game or for speculation. But they're being traded, and I think I'm waiting to see bigger exchange, because right now we have like OpenSea and shit like that, but there's no like Binance or Poloniex or whatever Coinbase Pro for these non-fungible tokens.
Right. Yeah, man. So, hey, what's your thoughts, Deshawn?
I'm not really into the non-fungible token aspect of it. I just like to see people get more crypto. I like to see more people get tuck away their fears and look into the solid companies that are out here, like Monarch Wallet, some of the wallets that are here, Monarch Wallets, the Celsius Network.
I was actually just going to ask you about that, so thanks for bringing up Celsius, Deshawn. I wanted to see what your thoughts were as opposed to trading. Some people's risk aversion may be to earning interest, right? As opposed to trading for 5% a month or whatever, 5% a year, you could actually just end up holding it with Celsius Network and earning that 5% a year and that's still 3% more than most people are hopeful for in a traditional market while doing a lot of work.
Right. Well, my role here at the Digital Currency Guide is to help people understand what cryptocurrency can do for them. So I ask them what they're comfortable with, if they're comfortable trading or if they're comfortable holding, and then I, educate them on what might benefit them better in doing so. And one of the top companies that keeps coming up in our conversations is Celsius Network because of all of the benefits that it offers, as far as being able to save, put your money there, earn interest, and then you can even take out a loan on your own crypto.
Yep.
So that's why we discuss all of that.
Yeah, I wish that was around during the bull run, man. I really do, because I ended up having, obviously a lot of people did cash out to do things, and I could have just taken a loan out and bought my Bitcoin back at a very decent price instead of, or even before the bull run. Like, a lot of people ended up cashing out to do things because they made a little bit, and they could have done the same thing. So it's an interesting, way to get your value out of it without having to completely get out of it, cashing out. And it's a tax. It's sort of a non-taxable event, right? Like
that's what I was gonna tell you. Like that's one of the tax strategies.
Right.
right. So I mean, I'll let you talk about that part, but yeah, we discussed that a lot.
Well, it's happening a lot with DAI right now. People are taking their Ethereum, putting up a collateral, getting a loan in DAI, taking that DAI, getting more Ethereum, getting another collateral, and then eventually getting another, cash out. So it's happening. People are realizing that you can avoid a lot of these gateways into the fiat world, and it's actually going to save you money by just kind of ignoring the cash world if you think about it, because the stable coins exist.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that's where, for us, I mean, we're adopters, and it's hard for other guys to fathom, but like you can actually avoid the cash world now if you want it. If you are, strategic about it, you can avoid the cash world, and that's where getting guys that have excessive cash businesses, and helping them understand that, hey, there's alternatives that you can actually, put your funds in, and once you come in fiat, you pay your taxes on it. And so I'm big on publicly, telling guys to pay their taxes, because I think it's a misnomer out there that we're all like yahoos and just misfits. Some of us are doing this for for the idea that, hey, we have alternative.
Yeah,
my stance is taxation is theft. My president didn't pay income tax. Why the fuck should I?
Right. But hey, so you got to look at them as a partner. It's ways that they benefit you, and you don't have to pay anything if you abide by their rules. And it's just a knowledge aspect. Like,
well, that's one of the gateways, right? Like, that's one of the borders to entry. People say that this is borderless, but it has an intellectual border that has a lot to do with education, right? And people want people to do their own research and be their own banks and do all this on their own. And as much as I would love to see that happen, there's always going to be those people that aren't intellectually inclined enough to do that education aspect.
Right. And that's where I say it always starts with here, you can make money, And that's how I got into crypto. Like, oh, it's the money aspect. But then as you get a little bit of knowledge and they start taking steps
Yep.
down the road, that's how we get guys to open up,
It
right?
is
And
an
it's not like,
incentive, right? When you start
yeah,
to see
yeah.
your
So
Bitcoin like go up or down or whatever, you're kind of incentivized to learn why did it go up, why did it go down, and things to that
right.
effect.
So it's like us, we have an automated trading platform, but I never even promote that because I don't want guys to think that the automation is just going to work by itself. You have to be educated. Where you got to turn it, you got to turn that shit off sometime.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
everybody
that's
new to crypto wants to go to the moon or get a Lambo. They don't want to take the time out to learn how to get to the moon or what would
well,
get
Right.
That's
people
what
in
Crow
the
was
Lambo.
talking about at the Chainwise event a lot. Was talking about his trading bot and trading bots in general. And I was really starting to get curious about the potentials of trading bots and stuff for it's kind of like a set it and forget it stance for people to invest and trade on a very small level. Is that something that could be utilized for individuals, or is this for just big players?
Nah, so you can't set it and forget it, man. Like at the end of the day, if I like to tell people, if automated trading was it would be no more traders on Wall Street. And
Right.
the reason why, because you still have humans, and we program those computers, so we still can manipulate those as well. And so there's days that you need to turn the automation off. You can't set it and forget it. If that was the case, no, it would be no more traders. And there's traders because that you can manipulate the bots as well. And so 75% of all trading is done through automation. On a Forex market, the stock market, crypto is the same thing. And us as a strategy is like we set it up to take small profits. You can always make 1% when the market is moving 5 and 10% a day.
Good
So,
point.
there's strategies to implement, and that is, you know, that's the truth that people don't want to.
Well, what are some of the indicators to turn it on or turn it off? Things that may lead to a tail of a run or a short.
In crypto, is all about volume and sentiment. That's the only things you need to trade in crypto.
Interesting.
Because because at the end of the day, there's no way to hide the movement. It's on the blockchain. You
Well,
can
a lot of
see
people
volume
say
coming
that
in.
there's a lot of volume manipulation on these exchanges, right? I mean, a lot of it's done
Right,
in-house
right.
trade, so the wallets don't necessarily make outgoing transactions when the trades are being executed on the platforms.
Yeah, but you so on these platforms, they decentralize. So there's multiple tools that we use that combine all those different exchanges, and you can see the order books. You can see the different spreads. You can actually spot which ones are manipulating the
Yep.
volume on their own exchange. So the thing about crypto is once you get the knowledge, everything is transparent. Even their lies, right? Even
Yeah.
the fakeness.
Well, that's one of the things that kind of interests me in a different way of trading when I got into crypto is because of that transparency. It made arbitrage trading pretty fucking easy. I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that when it comes to trading on exchanges. Do you look at what coins are being listed on what exchange for what price and opportunities to move one coin from one exchange to another for that kind of a gain or?
So for me, I don't like to move a lot of. I like to go where the volume is because it's a different type of trading. If you're moving large amounts of crypto, they're tracked and the wallets are tracked. And of course, that we have a lot of hacking. We become targets. So if you're moving too much crypto from wallets to wallets, you start identifying yourself. I like to stay where the volume is, as a trader,
Do you
and
use KYC exchanges or no KYC exchange? I'm just curious
uh,
because, like, for me, I prefer not to only because I don't trust the exchange with that information. Because if they get
right.
hacked, now there's a copy of my passport in some hacker's database.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's like if they have your phone number and your email, you're already
Yeah.
visible to the world.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to pinpoint you, that is the new KYC in the world. Your
Right.
phone number and your email makes you unique.
Your
So
IPFS, yeah, if you're trading from your computer, they already know.
yeah, I
Yes.
mean, so like we try to, we worry about things that, bro, they have your name and your email, and your phone number, and they can find out everything about you, right? So for me, I use a combination. For things I don't want to hit this change, it's DeFi, right? Things that I'm trading as a day trader and I'm gonna have to report some of that, or as a swing trader and it's already been on exchange, I'll leave it there. And I like to trade with biome.
Well,
So a
you
lot of
talked about
things,
volume and you just mentioned DeFi. What are your thoughts on the volume of DeFi? Do you predict that the decentralized markets will see more volume, or is it potential that these centralized markets may swindle and swaddle all the volume for themselves?
yeah, I think decentralized market is going to swallow all the biome. Uh, you know, I Personally,
Really?
I had a conspiracy theory, right? Where it's like the only reason Wall Street is involved is to destroy crypto.
Right.
Like,
Facts.
right. So that's the only reason that they're involved is to destroy and make it more volatile than it could be.
That's
The
why the
guys that use
futures
the
was
deep,
approved before the ETF, baby. Right there.
right. So I mean that is their goal is to destroy the retail market in crypto, and I think the big boys are going to use the DeFi, but it's going to be exchanges where they can actually do one-on-one transactions
See, I
outside
worry
of this.
about regulations forcing large institutions from moving, institutional capital into a DeFi, and because of the amount of shareholders behind that money. So it's not just one person moving tens of millions of dollars, right? It's a corporation of tens of thousands of people's money. So there's a lot more risk, and regulations
Right.
may actually prevent that amount of volume from ever entering that sector of exchanges.
Yeah, I think 100% that they're going to restrict from. I mean, that's the reason why we don't have funds involved until we have regulated exchanges that's going to protect them. Who like what investment fund is going to be first? Say, hey, we're going to go try this. They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna move it over because they're already making money. So for them to go do something super risky or be the first, it doesn't make sense. It only makes sense for guys that are, you know, in different countries and globally to move money amongst themselves. So I think the regulation is it's not there to stop us from interacting. It's there to control us and put control measures in to, allow the companies and allow the guys with money to be able to operate in an environment
Yeah, well,
where
a lot of
it's
people don't
regulated.
realize that's what security theater is. It's a tool for conformity, right?
Right.
They push you into a corner of fear to the point where you welcome whatever form of security may compromise, your freedoms.
Right. 100%. And
Accredited
so,
investing, bullshit.
well, I mean, if you say you're an accredited investor, then they would say, yeah, come on in. Like,
Right.
it's almost like they don't check, but it just keeps the majority out.
I'm not a fan of elitism, and I feel like that could happen to crypto as these exchanges do start to regulate and leave the U.S. and enforce KYC, and
It's
maybe
already
No, that's
happening.
that's the goal, Ken. That's what
It's
they're doing.
already happening. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's the
already
goal
happening.
is to make crypto is going to be an elite thing, and it's like we
Yeah.
can't stop it. Like we believers in waking people up and being free, but at the end of the day, it's turning into an elite thing right now. I mean, why aren't we able to go to more exchanges than Coinbase and Kraken in the United States? I mean, like we should have a bunch of different on ramps for
Right.
getting Bitcoin right now, and we don't. We're
yeah.
getting less.
Yeah, well, those on ramps are what I believe is centralizing.
Yeah,
Coinbase is basically a whitelisted address version of Bitcoin, and by doing this, they're starting to build. And with chain analysis, they're really starting to build this database of Bitcoin in a way that they can centralize it. When you go to a store to buy something with crypto, maybe I do a job and I made a graphic on Twitter for somebody and they paid me in Bitcoin. But the Bitcoin they paid me was from a hack from Upbit. And now when I go to the corner store to buy my goods and services, the Coinbase payment processor says frozen funds not accepted or something. So my money just got stolen. That is where they start to centralize this. And what I'm starting to see is a dystopian picture of Bitcoin now. And it's starting to really upset me. But it's still at the 1%, adoption rate. There could be a conformity of the community that could upright this. We've seen it happen time and time again with regulations from, prohibition of alcohol and cannabis now being overwritten by the communal efforts. We're in a state right now of blockchain and crypto prohibition, and it's up to the
right.
individuals to promote against that to make sure we don't. But at this point in time, they are heavily bigoted to this technology that we are at a state of prohibition of blockchain. Like we're moonshining crypto as traders, right? Like that.
Right. Well, they're
Right,
scared of the
right.
people. That's how we help is by spreading the word. That's why I do what I do. Like I want to talk crypto every time I get out of the house. And that's why we do what we do here at the Digital Currency Guy to help people uh, who are having issues getting into the market, learning how to get on an exchange, things of that nature.
I
Well,
mean,
let's
the
talk
goal
about
is,
some
I
of the
mean,
hardships or things where people fuck up. Because I'm sure, running the digitalcurrencyguy.com, you have a lot of people that probably come to you after they have done something beforehand. A lot of people have trust issues in this space, rightfully. But when you run into a brick wall and you have issues, you reach out for help. And maybe we could help some people today by highlighting some of those novice issues that you've helped people sort of remedy or not happen again.
yeah, of course, we all know what the biggest issue was is account managers and these exchanges that are promising gains. Like the first rule of crypto is never give your crypto to anyone. Never send
Mhm.
it to a wallet, never send it to a platform. You know, outside of your regular exchanges that 80% of the people, even that with Mount Gox, you can see how that ended up as well. So I mean, you take risks in crypto, but the biggest issue that we have coming in is guys that are trusting these account managers and say, "Oh no, I sent them, and he was supposed to, have a certain returns, and they got paid out, and then all of a sudden they disappeared." And it's like, you know, that's rule number one in crypto is like the whole reason to enter the space is because you want control over your own assets, and if you don't have the private key, then you don't own it. And then secondly is these platforms if they're outside of jurisdiction and you can't find an address on the website and you can't actually talk to someone, it's like they're not on LinkedIn. Like it's not realistic. It's not viable. There's so many people that are scamming people and getting their Bitcoin. Like you see, the new thing is you get an email saying, hey, send us this and we won't release. We compromise your system. And so a lot of these guys, I mean, even in our group, we've had a guy that went on Binance and got fished, and he thought he was talking to Binance support.
Yeah.
And
And
just
so it's like you want to hide
showing people
like
that
in a community. You want to be in a community where he's like, hey, before I do this, before I do
what
X, Y, Z, hey, what does the group think?
right, and
And
then and be a part of a community where you can see people's faces, where you can see individuals. Like in our group, there's we have over 7 calls a week. Zoom calls
right.
where people could come in and tune in and see what's going on. I do a call Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays.
Hey, we don't let anyone in the group unless we can see their face. Like if
It's
we're not on
right. And
Zoom
I got to
call,
see your face. I got to know who you are. And then I want to tell people while we're talking about this too, stop listening to people who give out calls. Like, quit following these call groups. Like these people, these guys who think they know, like they don't know. The market can go up and it can go down. Like that's the best advice that people can give you. So stop
hey,
a call or a signal group to give you the answer on, oh, well, it's going to hit this many stats and then you got it. No, it's
right.
It
And
used to
that's
be
another thing
like
we see.
that, though, to be fair. It used to be like that. 2 years ago, you could have entered any Telegram chat and got a real pump and dump run, 5 times out of the day. But that is not the case anymore, and it will probably never be like that ever again. I
oh
mean,
never.
So,
McAfee could post a status about any shitcoin on the market, and it will not pump.
right. So you'll also see in those Telegram chats is they'll have 100,000 members, and all of a sudden they've collected lifetime memberships, and then
Yeah.
3 months later they disappear. And so that's another scam that's out there. Or guys getting victimized is that they're joining these Telegram groups. They're saying, hey, we're around. We have a 700% profit rate in the last 2 months. They get the lifetime, point zero
Do these
five
things
Bitcoin.
exist in the legacy investment world? Like, are there like paid Telegram groups for like fucking stocks and shit? Like, do people have
Yeah,
like a Robinhood paid
Actually,
group chat?
nah, there is discords. Like I was a member of a few discords back in the days for stocks and options and futures, and so they exist, but they're not 100,000 deep. They're like 10, 20 guys that are actually trading.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So like you got 100,000 Telegram group, and you think 100,000 traders out there, and the volume doesn't reflect it on any market that they're in. So you're being you're being a little naive right there. And so
right.
so
that's the reason why. Go ahead.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about like potential up and coming projects, things that have potential or not as an investor or trader goes. Do you have any indicators for when a project announces itself, or like sort of how like we have the Kodak ICO or the Telegram ICO that didn't do very well, and then we have ICOs for projects like Ethereum and EOS and BNB that have done very well.
Right.
I'm just curious, do you have any like indicators that you look for when you see a project
Now,
announce itself as a trader?
So, for us, I mean, we kind of look at the ones that have Biome. So we look at Binance when they support One and Matic, and they're behind a lot of these, up and coming FET. We know that Binance is behind it, and they're pushing it up. So do we believe in it long term? We don't know what's going to happen in 6 months to a year from now, but we
That's the
know
difference
in the
between an
meantime.
investor and a trader, by the way, everybody.
Right, right. So hey, so the investor, I can't speak on investors because we're not holders. Like we're not holding anything long term. I have projects I like STZ, Tizo, Cosmo. I like the communities. I like what it's about. Certain technology like swaps. Um, there are certain technologies that I like that I think is going. They have a need for them. But in the meantime, it's like there's so much regulation and so much for long term investing. It's like, we're kind of in this, and we're watching it grow, and we're growing with it, and we're trying to grow revenue with the same time in the crypto community. We're long term believers, but we don't trust the government. We don't trust what laws and regulations is going to come in. So it's hard to tell a guy, what's going to happen a year, 2 years from now. We know it's
Right.
going to go up, but we don't know what the regulation is going to come in. We know that the options, futures, that's all designed to destabilize crypto.
Well, you
Right.
bring up a good point. When there's a project that is during its crowdfunding process, either ICO or IEO or whatever the case may be, and a large market like exchange like Binance is clearly stating that they will be listing this, that is
Right.
a clear early in, early out opportunity as a trader goes.
Clearly.
I,
Clearly.
on the other hand, as an investor, I wait for that dip. I wait for the ICO price, the market price to go under ICO, so nobody's making any trading profits. It's already been done, and it starts to see a true price movement after that
Right.
that original pump and dump.
So what I tell my guys is, how do you know how far it's going to go down?
Well, you
So
really don't, but I look at about half of ICO price. If it started at $1 a token and it's now trading at 50 cents a token, I'll ride it
right,
back up to 75 to maybe $1 when people start to take their cash out as a break even event occurs, and then ride another wave up because there's always that break even wave too.
It sounds
right.
good unless you're catching a falling knife and it drops down to 25 cents. Now you cut
So
it in half.
so
Well,
Kenya,
that's
hey,
why
we
it's an
don't buy.
investment and it's a long term, and hopefully I look at that as a buying opportunity again.
Hey, if it's long term, wait till it start coming back up, and then hop on it and ride the rave up. Never,
Right.
never, never buy it when it's down. Like when it start coming up. So
See,
like
I do that
algo,
whole Warren
algo.
Buffett method, man. When people are running away, I'm running towards it with open arms.
eh, I rather for the girl to be pretty already.
Good point. No, that's again the different mentality. I'm more of an investor than I am a trader. That is for sure. And
Right.
it's
So
worked out pretty
algo,
well with a lot of these long-term projects.
algo is one that has, it went up and it dropped, and now is on its way back up. And so that's like if you look at algo right now, that's one that it's on the way, coming from that bottom, it's starting to like trickle
What
back
does
up.
algo do?
It's basically like a futures options market for crypto.
Oh, like a
Yeah, so
decentralized platform futures market.
no, it's not. It's a regular platform. So there was a couple of platforms that when we were at Consensus, Algo, Hedge, that had different type of trading technology
Oh,
in
I
their
remember
platform.
them now. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's these new platforms that are U.S. backed and compliant that are coming out with these new ways to trade and focus on the institutional traders that I think those exchanges are gonna eventually gonna make it.
It's going to be interesting to see the war of these centralized exchanges because of proprietary technologies based on that. When you look at things like Visa and MasterCard and whatever, buying patents on transactions technologies that utilize it on the front end for the gateway side, I feel like we're going to see the DeFi market be more incentivized with these because a lot of these centralized exchanges are being built by crypto enthusiasts, blockchain technology developers, right? Like, and then they see
Right,
these exchanges get centralized and bought and they sell out, and now we have multiple exchange developers that have one common goal: create a decentralized exchange that can be the Bitcoin of exchanges. We have Bitcoin, which is a true decentralized currency, but we don't have its equal counter of a equally decentralized exchange for it. So at that level, it is centralized through those methods.
And so, one thing that we don't realize is that when we're talking about centralized and definance, dude, 80% of people out there, they be like, oh, man, it's too complicated. Like,
True.
just because the terms that we use is for them, we're speaking a whole different language. And so when, we try to introduce crypto, we try to make it simple. Because when you use centralized and decentralized, they just shut down. Like, oh man, that shit is foreign.
Check out.
Yeah,
And it's
I
like
know those
that is
guys want to just go like,
that's what's stopping mass adoption right there. Just the terms that we use, because then they was like, hey, they know too much. They know more than me. I'm not smart. I can't figure it out. And it's
well, these
sad.
terminologies will become more household as we utilize them. I mean, we're still at a 1%, so you're right. It definitely is a turnoff, but I don't think we should dumb down the conversation for the sake of the person we're speaking to or the community we're speaking
Yeah,
to. We should bring
it
them up
works.
with
It
us.
works in music. They dumb the music down so they can reach the masses.
Yeah.
I
Well,
know. I know. Hey,
Soldier,
I know.
yeah,
I can
Soldier
see your
Boy did a
frustration.
Bitcoin song, and I hope no more artists do it ever again.
Yeah, that was horrible.
That
That,
was
Right. Right.
awful.
that was rough.
Now, I almost say we have to do it baby steps, and I kind of just get them in the door, and then be like, all right, and then they started to kind of get into it. But a lot of new people that we see, bro, like it's just amazing that the 80% is not open. Like their minds are, they shut down. They're quick to shut down. And that's one of the turnoffs for me in crypto is like, I'll go in a room and say, hey, yeah, I'm crypto. Oh, you're a scam. Like, why? And they was like, oh, well, I heard. It's like they don't even know why. They
Right,
don't even know
right.
why you're thinking that. They just instant because it's too foreign for them.
Well,
And
that's
so
the
like,
propaganda again, right? That's the
right,
propaganda of the mainstream where they perpetuate that ideology, and that's what the masses end up walking away with until we have individual conclusions and people, wake up as opposed, to being the sheep of the mainstream where they have that opinion and they aren't even aware of why they have it.
right, and they're like, the people still trading crypto. I thought it's dead. It's like, no, like it's still traders out here full time making a living. They're like, well, no one is making money. My friend, he lost. It's like,
Yep.
half the people weren't educated. They weren't traders before, and 90% of people on the stock market are losing. They don't realize it's like, Bitcoin has a big percentage. When you look at the stock market, 25% of all the stock market is traded on four stocks:
Yep.
Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google.
Yep.
That's
They're not
25%
even
of all.
and they're not even investments anymore as opposed to like being a fucking savings account because you're not going to make anything off of them at this point.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Not and with the I mean with individual like it depends where you're at in the market, but there's a lot of these
right,
places. If you want to be a new trader, the trading fees outweigh what most people are willing to actually trade or the amount of percentage they're going to make. I think like TD Ameritrade was like $10 a trade or something, and I remember when
789.
Robinhood. Yeah, I remember when Robinhood announced free trading fees, people went nuts. But a lot of people that looked at trading when they first got into it, they saw that $10 trading fee, and they were going to take them 10 trades in a year to make that back off the amount of
So,
money they were willing to invest.
but you make a great point. So think about that. If you try to open up a TD Ameritrade account when it was $7, it's free now. But when it was $7, you only have $1,000. The first trade you make, you're already down.
Yep.
You're already down. Like,
Yep.
you're already down just on making the trade. And then you try to sell it, you're down again. So all those brokers were only designed to make money on fees. Last year in the crypto market, with all the market going down, 2018, all the changes were like one of the most profitable years because
Yep.
there was so many people that had crypto and they were just buying and selling, and it's like the exchange make money off of that. And so
Yeah,
like
look at
that's
Binance,
what
man. I mean, dude, during a bear market, they became one of the most profitable exchanges in the world.
In the world.
so
So I wanted to wrap things up sort of with the noob conversation of like if no because I got into this in 2015. I never traded anything, and that's like the only reason I did trade anything in crypto was because I was allowed. I tried to trade in the traditional market, and they kept telling me no, you're not accredited, or that $10 transaction fee, it was there, and I foreseen how unprofitable that was. So I was already
Right.
deterred from participating, and that's when crypto kind of woke me to it. But when somebody's coming to you guys, you know, going to the digital currency guy and saying, "Hey, I've never traded anything." Where do you start? What's the conversation like for those people? Because there's people that may be tuning in that have never traded or never bought or done
Right.
anything, and they don't even know where to start financially.
The first thing I do is like there's two things we're gonna talk about: time and mindset. And the first mindset you need to have is you've never traded anything. This is your first time. It's not about the money. It doesn't matter if you're gonna put $10 on the exchange or $1,000. You're not even concerned with that because it's the same process whether you have $10 or $1,000,000. So you start with $10. Start with something real small where you're just gonna get educated. People have an idea that they want to get money and I want to make money. I want to make money. It's like, bro, like you don't even know anything. You want to get educated first. Get educated, join the community, listen and see what we're doing. And the first thing we're gonna do is get you to have crypto. We're gonna get you send it to one another, send it to your wife or send it to your brother, $5 worth, just so you can actually know how it interacts and give yourself a month or 2 months before you even start trying to make a trade. Like you want to get educated on these platforms and community and understand the ideal of trading crypto. You go to college for 4 years and you may get a job when you get out. Here this is a lifetime. Once you know how to manage your own funds and you know how to interact, you can use this for the rest of your life. So the first steps when they come in, they're gonna talk to Deshawn and they're gonna be like, hey, you know what? The first thing you're gonna do is just get crypto, send it one place to the next, know how to store it, know how to be secure, know how to hold it, right? And then here's the top 20 coins that we're gonna look at. You're not gonna look at the whole entire market. There's 4,000 coins out there. You're gonna focus on these 20 coins, and we're gonna learn like, hey, here's what these coins do. Here's the technology it is, and then you'll make a trade, and then you'll say, all right, here's how the market moves. Here's how you look at a chart. Here's how you work with exchange. So there's a process of just being introduced, and I call it the indoctrination period.
Yeah.
So if you get crypto, you should get indoctrinated first.
He
Join a
left so much
community.
stuff out. He left so much stuff out. Like we have like if you come into the group, there's so much that we do. We have technical analysts and things of that nature. A monthly report is put together. So there's a list, there's already a list compiled of tokens that we have taken the time out to run a technical analysis against, and we have a plan for entering some trades or looking at trades.
How far back can your reports be seen? Do you leave them up for, an eternity, or do you just take them? I'm just curious because if somebody comes in, they could look at your previous reports and then look at where the market's at today to see how it turned out.
100%. Even if you go to digitalcurrencyguy.tv, we have a mastermind section. We have reports there. So for the entire year, our first pick this year in January was Binance Point in our report, and we said that was a whole throughout the entire year. Tizo and Cosmo, Link, they were all on the report as well.
Okay.
So yeah. So we have a history, and that's why we put them in writing. And it's kind of like, hey, this is our little secret pile over here, but we put it in writing. So after this call, we're gonna send you our report for December, so you can actually take a look at it in November. And so we're gonna give you the goods.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. So 100%, man. It's like the transparency is what we in this space.
Right. It's not
And
a
our
trading
guys,
group. It's more like a trading community. Like we want the traders to feel comfortable. We want you to ask questions and we want you to engage. This is not a signal group. We're not a signal group at all. It's all about um, growing the cryptocurrency space.
right.
I
And it's a
learned.
lifestyle, man.
Yeah.
Trading is a lifestyle.
That's a
You
fact. No,
know,
people think it's a job that's a 9 to 5, but when you trade, there is no 9 to 5. Especially, and that's something I didn't get a chance to really bring up was the this trades 24/7,
24/7.
365. There
Every
is no
day.
downtime as opposed to the traditional market where I guess you could do weekend trades depending on your stance in the market, but otherwise you're just sitting there staring at the off
Right.
trade buys or whatever off clock trades, and you're just waiting to see what reflects when the market comes back on. But it doesn't. It's a lifestyle because it never ends.
Right. So there's no so like if it's a lifestyle, there's no hurry for me to be up at a certain time or trade a certain time. I
Right.
can always catch a trade. It's 24 hours. So like
Right.
I live my life first, and then I can go trade and I can catch trades anytime. So it's like it revolves around your life, and that's where new traders when they
Learning
come
how to
in,
manage your
how do
time.
you
When
trade?
when I was trading, my life revolved around when China woke up.
Right,
I
right,
was
right.
up all night, sleeping all day in 2017.
Right. So you get in crypto, you can know what time the Australians wake up. You can get what time to even in Middle East they trade
Yep.
Ether now. So it's like you have different times that you can trade different markets. I mean like different times globally that you'll have different volume inside the
Yep.
market.
Yep.
At the
Exactly.
end of the day, right? Crypto
Yep.
that has different times volume move more or
We
less.
have members from all over the world as well. We got people from Australia. We got traders in Australia. We got traders in New Zealand, Philippines, right?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. They're
And
all
I
over.
think that what's really amazing about these kinds of groups, and maybe you guys don't even see it yourselves because you do utilize the platforms and everything, but the potential, or maybe you don't talk about it for whatever reason, but the potential for OTC and really avoiding the exchanges as well. When people are in these groups, maybe you are in Australia, maybe you are in Philippines, and you actually don't have any exchange that is available to get the tokens that you desire. Now you can go to a reputable community and say, hey, I have X, I need Y, and through a
Right.
reputable
So,
communal, you can do
right.
OTC trading in these
So
groups.
Ken, when they come in our group, we have a compliant OTC that we use. we don't buy off the exchanges. We have a compliant OTC that we utilize.
Nice.
Right. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, we believe in it 100%. The whole crypto spirit.
100%. 100%.
The
Respects,
whole hundred
guys.
percent.
Well, I appreciate you both for coming on. It's definitely been fun. Deshawn, Jamar, the digital currency guys, much
Guys,
appreciated. Yeah, so I guess just let people know where they can find you individually and join the community as a group.
right. So I mean, I say the first place to go is digitalcurrencyguy.tv. That's their online portal. All our material goes up there, and that's you can access that. It's not about the funds. It's pretty much $8 to get access to all our material. And then when you want to, have one-on-one time or need someone to talk to, want to be in the community, then you reach out to go to digitalcurrencyguy.com. And then Deshawn, he works with the traders. Like, there's even if they're experienced Forex and option trader, they go to digitalcurrencyguy.com. We have option stocks, crypto, and it's in our reports. So even a report will show you, it's like a 60, 70 page report every month that goes over the entire global markets.
Damn.
And, yes, I mean, you'll see how in depth it is. And, it's about the education, man. Like, you can't have wealth without knowledge, and you got to have the
Right.
education first. Some people, they want to get the wealth, and then be like, once I get money, then I'll figure out how this shit works. And it's like, nah, man, you get the information first, and then you get the money.
Well, like
Right.
you said,
So
it
that's
doesn't
a real
matter if you
big
start
thing.
with if you trade with $10 or $10 million.
Yeah.
It's the amount of knowledge you put behind that money. If you don't have any knowledge behind $10 million, you're gonna lose it real quick, as opposed to having a whole
Right.
lot of knowledge behind that $10. And
Because the
that.
percentages are the same. If it's 2% off ten
Percentages are
dollars
the
or
same.
2% off 10,000, it's
Yep.
still 2%.
Right. So
So
that's why you
make
focus on
money
the
off the small
education.
amount first.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
And well,
But
and
you
when you
can,
mentioned earlier, was the money you first invest is pretty much, and I've always said this to people too, is it's like your crypto trading college fund. There's
The
no
tuition.
Stanford or Harvard. Yeah, it's your crypto tuition, man. Like it's
It's the
money
tuition.
spent. You didn't invest
hmm
it. You spent it on learning how to invest.
right.
Right. And I call it circulating. We don't say spent
Yeah,
in the digital currency. We circulate
Right.
money.
Right.
The
yeah,
money you
yeah.
put
You
Circulating.
out, it come back
contributed.
to
Yeah.
you.
Absolutely.
It's a
Absolutely.
circulation. Yeah, man. Hey, so thanks for having us, though, bro. Like,
Yeah, man.
Big
I really
time. Thanks,
appreciate
Ken.
it.
Thanks a lot. Oh, I didn't even give people. All right, so check it out. You can find me
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Deshawn at thedigitalcurrencyguide.com. That's my email. On Twitter is 6'7" don't ball, because I'm 6'7". Like basketball, don't ask me. What else? Let's see. Same on Instagram, 6'7" don't ball, and on Facebook is Deshawn Miller. So I look forward to it. Any crypto questions you have about trading, or if you want to get in, if you don't know how to set up a wallet, I can help you with that. I just want to get people involved in the cryptocurrency and see you succeed. So
We
thanks a
need
lot.
more people in this space like you guys, bros. I appreciate your coming on the channel and shooting the shit about trading with me, and everybody for tuning in. If you have anything to say about what we talked about on the podcast, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. The conversation is now in your hands. As always, have a day.
all right, man. All right, good looking out.